Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime Symbol, and today I'm going to be giving you part 6 of What If Naruto Had the adapting ability like Doomsday. Remember to get this one too. 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels. If you're new, yes, I indeed have 4 channels, links down in description. And don't forget, if you want your what if to be done by me, comment on this channel and tell me your idea down below in the comments, and have a chance for it to be placed in a poll and be done by me, guys. So yeah, without further ado or wasting more time, what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode? Begin now, guys. So the last time we left off, we started on the Hokage monument. As Haku was amazed, she was sitting cross-legged on Naruto's back as he was up to 4,950 push-ups. And he was not showing any signs of slowing down anytime soon. Since the tragic affair that ended Zabuza-sama, Naruto had increased his training dramatically. Her herself had recently been released from the hospital. She'd even spoken to the greatest medic in this world. Haku always had an affinity for the healing arts, and Tsunade wanted to take the girl on as a student. As Naruto was rather happy to hear that. However, he knew that he was not strong enough to face off against some of the threats that were out there. So he had to get stronger, and what better place to get stronger than here? While that was going on, Harrison was wondering if he should tell Naruto. As he had spoken to Tsunade, she had agreed that he should reveal everything to the boy. So with that, he proceeded to send one of his envoys to find the boy. Meanwhile that was going on, Naruto was finished as he was making his way. Him and Haku. That is when they ran into Team 7. As Naruto easily dispatched Sasuke, Sakura grabbed her kunais and she was ready. However, because of her still injured state, Sai was able to get behind Haku and place a kunai to her throat. It is at that moment that Naruto was going to lose it. Haku had told Sai to remove the kunai and run. She saw the look in Naruto's eyes. She had to be the one to calm him down. The bloodlust that resonated from him, it signaled to every envoy around the vicinity as they all arrived, raising their weapons, thinking that this was the Kyuubi or some kind of monster. His bloodlust was not normal. Even Sai, who was trained to suppress certain emotions, was afraid. Terrified to be quite exact, as the envoy told Naruto that he needed to come with him. With that, they made their way towards the office. Before Harrison go into anything though, he would like to know what happened to the both of them. That is when Naruto revealed what happened. Harrison was able to identify the members that Naruto and Haku and Zabuza went up against. The 3 of them were S rank. Sasori, of the Red Scorpion. There was a tailless tailed beast, Kisame, and there was the mad bomber, Deidara. As they were charged to get something. However, the puppet man kept on saying that Kisame should not be here. Something was going on there though. However, Naruto was not the wiser. None of them were. However, Zabuza did not stand a chance against Kisame. And the puppet man poison. It was vast and powerful, able to weaken Naruto, and the bombs made things a lot worse. After that explanation, Hiruzen told Naruto everything. And that is everything. He told him about his parents. Hiruzen might not know why the fox was sealed inside of him because he was not there and Minato did not tell him before he passed, but he's sure that Minato had a reason, a good one, as he knew the kind of man that Minato was. Naruto did not seem pleased by that. Haku was there though to calm him, as Hiruzen realized that this girl was connected to his emotions, which he seemed to be struggling with. As the time drew by, as Naruto was never used to expression or feeling such emotions, Hiruzen took them to the two-story house. As Naruto was able to enter the bedroom that he was supposed to have. Growing up here, but his parents passed on. Sometime later, Naruto visited Tsunade and asked her if she knew. Of course she did. However, that was after she returned. She was the one that advised him to tell him everything. Naruto was grateful for that. Despite him being a lot younger than her, Tsunade found Naruto as someone that she could tolerate more than most people. She could talk to him, as they understood one another. They also ran tests on him to find out what was his bloodline, to exactly tell what it was. And all of them that were there were astonished. They could not believe what they witnessed. His bloodline was vastly more powerful than even he knew. The adapting rate in his body was making him reach levels that Tsunade did not even know if there was any limits to any of them. Hiruzen had a meeting with the council for all of them to come and witness Naruto. Yes, for them to see that he was worthy of the position of clan head. Hiruzen told them that adapting to Naruto is a rather acquired taste. The child was not one to take really much shit from anyone. They asked if he had a rather bad behavior. However, he did not see Konoha in a warm light. He did not believe in the will of fire or anything like that, so they had to be very careful. However, his position and his bloodline would lead to great benefits for the future of the village. The next day, as Naruto was going to meet up with the Hokage, he ran into the team, the one that was there at Land of Wave. Hiruzen had feel it best to tell them all that Naruto was now a citizen of the village. So another attack like what happened with Team 7 won't happen like that again. Team 7 was also there, but they were further back. The tester was none other than Kakashi, so his team had tagged along. Kakashi wanted them to see what he was capable of as well. Maybe it would be a bit of an inspiring for them, and to show that he was a part of the village as well. However, Kiba, being the hothead that he was, believed that Naruto was the enemy, and Naruto did not make it better by egging him on. So Kiba decided to attack him. So yeah guys, so basically as we left off, you guys can switch across and please check it out for yourself. And also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other what ifs or the other channels. Links will be down in the description. So yeah, without further ado or wasting more time, why don't we begin this new episode? Begin now guys. Kiba Inuzaka was not thinking clearly. Despite the fact that Hinata was telling him to stop, so was Shino. He still rushed forward as fast as he could, his fist drawn back. He then threw it outwards. However, when his fist made contact, instead of the opponent being sailed away, Kiba felt pain course through his knuckles. He dragged his hand back. As he started to hold on to his hand, it was pulsating in pain. He felt like he just hit a solid brick wall. What the hell? He said. His confused and fearful eyes now looking up. Naruto's slated eyes looked down towards him before his hand lashed out and grabbed the Inuzaka by his throat. He picked him off the ground with one single hand. As I said, you're weak. He then flicked Kiba away. Kiba crashed in front of his two teammates, in pain, as he was still baffled. Even Haku raised an eyebrow. She knew that Naruto was getting stronger, but his strength was increasing at such a rapid pace. It was truly incredible. Akamaru wanted to get vengeance for his partner. He wanted to attack Naruto, but a single gaze. The puppy was instantly cowered down just by a single gaze of Naruto's eye. That is when Kiba picked himself back up. That's enough. They turned as they saw Kurenai walking towards them. I told you to come here not to fight, but to meet the newest member of the Hidden Leaf. What? This guy? But he was our enemy. Kiba said toward the sensei, not understanding. Yes, that was the case, but things are different now. Well, I refuse to accept that. He is the enemy, and there is no change in that. What's going on here? Are you causing trouble for your sensei, pup? Kiba froze up hearing that voice, as he slowly turned to see his mother gazing down at him. Mom? What are you doing here? Oh, that's simple, she said. She glanced over towards Naruto. I'm here to watch the pup over there take his little test. They looked towards Kiba's mother and their sensei with confusion as Naruto started to walk off. Haku, apologizing for his lack of, communication with Kurenai. He did not even spare her a glance in the slightest. As they walked, Haku spoke. You know, we should really work on your manners. Naruto glanced towards her. What are you talking about? Well, that lady back there, she was trying to initiate talking with you, but you did not even give her a chance. He looked at her rather confused. And why should I care, he asked. It's a courtesy thing, she said. It's not like it's gonna kill you to be a bit nicer. And how do you know that? How do I know what, she said. That it's not gonna kill me, said Naruto. She gave him a blank look, with a sweat drop at the side of her head. However, he continued to walk. She really wondered if he truly believed in what he was saying, or if he was just doing this to piss her off. Kiba and the group followed behind, as Kiba was mumbling the entire time. They finally arrived, and there was a large selection of people there. Yes, a large selection of people, and majority of them were important. The clan heads and the elders were there as well, even Danzo Shimura. This was quite a sight to see, as Hiruzen smiled. Ah, you're finally here, he said. However, Naruto was not looking at him. He was simply looking around. Why are all of these people here, he asked. Each of these people are a part of the council, and I've called them all here to witness your performance, he said. After all, you remember what we talked about the next step, in you joining the village. As Naruto glanced over, and what about the children, he said. Hiruzen glanced over his shoulder. I had Kakashi brought them because I want them to know that you are now a citizen of Konoha, as well as Team 8. Given your last encounter, he said. Well, as long as they don't do something stupid as attacking me again, we should be fine. Sasuke sent Naruto a hateful glare. However, Naruto was not looking his way again. So who is it, he said. Who exactly do you want me to fight? Hiruzen raised a hand as Kakashi Hatake approached. The copy ninja? Really? Said Naruto. Nice to see you again, Naruto, Kakashi said. I have briefly fought you before, even if it was just for a few seconds. I thought it would have been someone new, he said. Oh, trust me, Hiruzen said. Kakashi is more than capable to test you in all of the areas that would show all the fellow councilmen that you're ready for the position. That would be soon dealt to you, he said. Fine, said Naruto as he started to rotate his arm. I was looking for a chance to see how far I've come since being here, he said. As he stepped out to the center of the field, all the clan heads watched. Over towards the side, Kiba snorted. What is a Hokage thinking, he said. It's not like that idiot is going to be able to defeat a Jonin of this village. I mean, come on, the guy's a Jonin. Well, from previous observation and encounters, he's rather powerful, Shino said. Powerful my ass. He was able to put you down, Shino replied. That was a mistake. I rushed in and I wasn't thinking well. So you admit that you did something stupid, that you know you should do better and yet you still do it. That's Just be quiet, he said, and let's just see what this idiot can do. Giggling could be heard as Kiba snapped his gaze towards Hinata, who was laughing. Seeing how Shino had messed up Kiba so well, Shino was actually amused as well. However, it did not show, given his clothing that covered most of his features. Sasuke just kept his glare on the boy. Sai was quiet, which was surprised given his usual, rather hurtful comments. Soccer remained quiet as well, glancing out towards the field. As the both of them stopped in the center, the clan heads started to mutter amongst themselves. Danzo Shamira stood there, along with the two other elders, to witness what was going to happen. Danzo's gaze drifted over towards the girl to the side, as he did not make any reaction towards her though. Over towards the other side. Who is in? Said Snatty, after making her bet known. Yes, she was going to bet on the fight. Kasumi glanced towards her. Really? Put in your bet on the kid, she said, rather surprised. Yeah, are you in? Well, I wouldn't pass up an opportunity for some free money. The kid might be strong, but there is no way that he's beaten Hatake. I'm in. Under Hatake, she said. I'm in as well. Choza spoke up. Put me down for Hatake. Snatty smiled hearing that. He glanced towards Shikaku. The outcome would be too troublesome to bet on, he said. Come on, Shikaku. Just join in on the fun, he said. It's like a little sporting event. Well, I'm in as well. Inoichi spoke up. I'm gonna go with Hatake. I'm in as well. The voice of Shibi spoke up. They glanced towards him. And put me down for the kid. Choza blinked. Really? You're betting on the kid, he said. Tasumi raised an eyebrow. Maybe I should have bet on the brat. No backing out now, said Snatty. They glanced towards Hayashi Hyuga. Do you people really believe that I would lower myself into such foolishness, he said. They all knew that he was going to say that. However, given the odds that are stacked against him, I too shall involve myself this once, because I can already see the outcome. Wait, you're actually joining in, Tasumi said. It would be a waste not to. As he glanced towards Snatty and Shibi as well. He was betting on Kakashi. Snatty rubbed her hands together with a smile on her face. I'm loving that majority of you underestimate him. And that is how you're gonna pay, she said, with a smile of her own. Hey kid! I put a large bet on you. You better win this, she shouted at Naruto. It won't be my fault if you lose your money, he shouted back. Well, if you lose, I'll pummel you into the ground, she said. So you better win. You got that? He simply ignored her. Well, it seems like a lot is riding on this, Kakashi said. Naruto cracked his neck. Yes, and you're going to lose, he said. Well, the Hokage want to see you at your fullest to see how far you are in terms of strength and physical and overall. So I guess I'm not going to be able to hold back that much. After all, I too am interested to see how far you are, Naruto, he said, as he lifted up his headband. Naruto gazed right into the Sharingan. Alright, it seems like you're both ready. Begin, Hiruzen said. The world turned black for Naruto, as he started to hear voices all around. My first test, Genjutsu, he said. You should never let your opponent caught you off guard and put the battle in their favor in the beginning. Because just like that, it will be BAM! The kunai that Kakashi was using to sneak up on Naruto was slapped out of his hand. The copy ninja was surprised at how easy Naruto broke the Genjutsu. Naruto sped forward. The copy ninja crossed his arms as Naruto threw his fists. The moment it made contact, Kakashi felt the bones in his body, from the point of impact, tremble outwards. He was blasted. He slammed across the ground twice before flipping and skidding back. His hands dropped to his side. They were bruised. All of the clan heads, except for Snatty, was shocked. Shibi He didn't know why, but he saw something in that boy. And he decided to bet on him. And it seems like it was the right thing to do. Not only was he able to disable Kakashi Genjutsu so quickly, however, his speed, it's ridiculous. Inoichi said with complete shock over his face. Kakashi was not given any time. Naruto was already in mid-air. Kakashi jumped. A large portion of the training field was uprooted. So much so that majority of them had to step back. They glanced towards Navi. Did you teach him your super strength technique? Shikaku had to ask. Even he was shocked. Nah, that's all him. They gazed back towards the boy who jumped out of the crater. Kiba's mouth was wide open in absolute shock. Tasumi cursed to the sky. She should have bet on the pup. However, she underestimated him just like the others. Shino glanced towards Kiba. What were you saying about him being weak once again? Shut it, Shino, Kiba said, feeling rather embarrassed. Sasuke was startled. Sakura's mouth was wide open. Sai was quiet. Over towards the other side. If I was hit with that, I would have been done for, said Kakashi. Maybe he wouldn't be killed, but however, he wouldn't be in a good condition at all. The fight would have even been over. Naruto glanced up toward the tree where the copy ninja stood. Next lesson, Kakashi said. Ninjutsu. He sped through Hansan as he brought his hand up and released a massive ball of fire. It struck down where Naruto stood. Everyone was shocked. However, Naruto walked out of the flames, patting it off of his pants. He wasn't wearing any shirt, but he patted off the fur that was around his neck. They glanced towards each other, wondering if they were seeing things. Did he just walk out of a fireball like it was nothing? They all glanced towards Tsunade. Excuse me, Tsunade-sama, Inoichi said. But if I'm not mistaken, weren't you the one that did the medical test on him? Yep, she said with a smile. So that means you were able to thoroughly examine his body, and you placed a bet on him after said examination. Yep, she said. All of them sweat dropped as they came to the same realization at the same time. She knew the outcome of this match because of her thorough testing of the boy. But still, testing or not, this kid was truly something. Gonzo Shimura was shocked as he watched the battle take place. The two elders were shocked to see such a power. They couldn't believe it. And this child was so young and yet so vastly powerful to even be keeping up with a Jonin. Kakashi was forced to jump as two stakes stabbed into the tree. It obliterated. The copy ninja had to slap away several barks that came to him at high speed. He had to drop. Flashing through Hansan, he pulled water out of the nearby river. A massive water dragon roared towards Naruto. However, Naruto slapped his hands together before he took in a deep breath and exhaled. A gigantic ball of fire. It was like a 3-story house. It swallowed Kakashi water style, evaporate the water into mist, and kept on charging forward. The copy ninja had to substitute out of there. However, Naruto was no longer where he was. Glancing up, Naruto was high in the sky. He held his hand to the heavens before sparks started to gather around it. He then released raw, powerful electricity downwards, shocking the people even more. He did not use a single hand sign. He was able to generate the raw natural energy and control it perfectly. And the fire as well. The whole place was destroyed. Kakashi jumped out. His left sleeve was burned, and there was a few burn marks on his jacket. Kakashi rushed towards Naruto as Naruto rushed towards him. However, Naruto stopped and slammed his fist into the ground. The real Kakashi jumped out of the earth as Naruto fired 3 stakes towards him. Kakashi deflected 2 and kicked the third one up in the sky, It exploded, forcing the copy ninja to drop. However, Naruto was already there. Naruto slammed his fist right into the copy ninja's face. However, Kakashi poofed away, revealing that it was a clone. That is when wires shot out of the earth. It wrapped around Naruto, pinned him there. Kakashi arrived, the real one. Blade out, ready to place it at Naruto's neck. That was until the wires burst. Naruto's fist shattered the blade completely into pieces. It also made contact with Kakashi's right hand. His hand was snapped back with incredible force. Pain coursed through him. Barely a second later, Naruto dropped said fist in his stomach. Majority of the strength had been taken off from shattering the blade and hitting his hand, but still, the copy ninja was sent flying. He slammed across the ground. When Kakashi was on his back, he had to roll away as Naruto's knee crashed where his head was. The moment he got back up, they started engaging taijutsu. Kakashi was fast as he tried to pierce Naruto's defense, using the kunai, realizing how tough his skin was. However, as they fought, Naruto was adapting even faster than the Sharingan could predict movements. Kakashi found himself being hit hard until Naruto stepped in his guard and slammed the fist in his gut, throwing the copy ninja away. Kakashi summoned a clone as he grabbed his right hand and threw him forward. He went through 3 hand signs and created dogs that were made from pure electricity. The first one jumped at Naruto as he ducked. The third one flipped over as the second one used it as a bungee jump to push itself forward. It slammed right into Naruto. Naruto winks as electricity started to course on him with success. However, his eyes snapped open as the lightning started to channel through his right hand. It ran through his body until he raised his other hand and tore right through the other dog and the other one with a burst of his own electricity. It was Kakashi's that he had bent to his own control. Kakashi jumped back, realizing that he could not take Naruto head on, but Naruto was far from done. He proceeded to slam both his fists into the ground. The entire place started to shake until breeze started to escape. Small pockets of holes started to burst open. That is when Kakashi realized what Naruto was doing. He tried to jump away, but it was not far enough. Kakashi cried out in pain as the entire ground underneath him erupted. Violent amount of wind slamming and tearing into him. Blood splattered, showing that was the real copy ninja. The grin on Naruto's face, it was getting wider as he fought. "Come on, Hatake. I know there is more. Give me all that you can," he said. "Show me why you're called the copy ninja. Show me why your name is around the elemental nation." Kakashi, despite the fact that he should not be using this, Kakashi knew that this was a test to see how far Naruto has come and what he was capable of. So screw it. He charged up the Chidori. Sasuke was shocked when he saw that. The other clan heads watched. Everyone was silent. Not even the Hokage said a word as Naruto held out his hand. His skin color started to change as the grooves on his hand started to get rough and tough. Suddenly, his hand seemed to weigh extra pounds as he lowered it. He sprinted forward. So did Kakashi. The spikes on Naruto's knuckles increased. The both of them met in mid-air and slammed their respective hands forward. The Chidori clashed against Naruto's raw fists. Kakashi saw his lightning tearing through Naruto's knuckles. However, the skin underneath seemed to be restoring at a pace that not even his lightning could destroy. As Naruto shoved his fist forward, Kakashi felt his hand twist. Blood spray. The both of them were then sent into the ground. Boom! The whole place erupted in a violent blast. Smoke and dust could be seen. Hayashi activated his Byakugan and he gasped at what he saw. The others looked towards him. However, they wanted to see for themselves. When the smoke and dust cleared, both Naruto and Kakashi were standing there, their arms extended. That was until Kakashi dropped down to his knees, cradling his rather bloody arm as he was panting in exhaustion. Using a Sharingan like that, as Naruto was standing there, his body seemed to be fluctuating with power, and it was soothing his stamina. He was not even breathing heavy. Naruto looked towards his hand to see all the cuts and burn marks, slowly healing. Don't get him wrong, the copper ninja had wounded him plenty of times in their battle, either with his lightning or his shurikens or kunais. However, Naruto's body had gotten so strong that it could barely even fracture his skin without that raw added amount of chakra, and Kakashi had not added that much, and that was his problem. They were all surprised. He won. Kakashi was an elite jonin of this village, and this child who was soon 14 years old took him down, and he looked completely fine. It was a startling discovery. Hiruzen saw everything that he needed to see. Naruto's skin was so tough it was hard to even penetrate, and Kakashi did not supply his weapons with that much chakra, because he was holding back, not to fully harm Naruto. He had reduced the amount of chakra on his weapons. However, Hiruzen did not know if it would make much a difference. Naruto was able to use his fist alone to take down the Chidori. Yes, his fist now was burned and cut all over, but it was healing right in front of their eyes, smoke leaking from said fist. The wounds were closing up. He was like an unstoppable juggernaut, given the fact that he was not even tired. Majority of them forgot about the bet in that moment as they realized this child is a true great addition towards the village and their military power. Yes, there was no doubt about that. As Naruto stood there looking down towards Kakashi. "You hesitated too much, Hatake," he said. "What are you talking about?" said Kakashi. "You lessen your strikes, despite the fact that you saw that your regular kunais was not enough to pierce my skin." "Well, I wasn't expecting that," said Kakashi, "and I barely had time to change what I was doing." "You're faster than I thought." "Well, you should have gone in with 100% from the beginning. Maybe then you would have won," he said. An arm wrapped around the blonde's neck and pulled him close. "I knew I could count on you, brat," said Snetty, a big smile on her face. "I guess you won," he said. "Yeah, a buttload," she said to him. "I guess now they know not to bet against you." As Naruto simply smirked at that, she looked down towards Kakashi as she went to tend to his arm. He thanked her. Kakashi glanced up towards Naruto. A smile was on his face. They would have been proud, he thought to himself. Sasuke couldn't believe it. His sensei lost. That meant this boy that was his age was stronger than his own sensei. Sasuke felt hatred inside of him. Disappointment. What has he been doing all these years? Has he just been wasting his damn time? What has been the point of his training? He has accomplished nothing compared to how far Naruto had reached. They were the goddamn same age. "Sasuke, are you alright?" "Leave me alone," Sasuke said, giving Sakura a harsh glare. As he walked off, Sai watched him leave. Danzo also noticed him as well. The members came over as they started to discuss. "Well, I guess you were right, Hokage-sama, and we placed our doubts. I guess it was on us," Tasumi said. "Yes, it was," said Snetty with a smile on her face. "It seems I chose well," Shibi said with a smile of his own, but in his own little creepy way. He made the right choice on this one. Shikaku had not bet. However, he did see that this child was truly something else. "So, I suppose all of you now accept what I agreed on." They all nodded their heads. Hiruzen pulled out the headband. as he handed it to Naruto. Naruto looked at the headband. What is this? This is you joining the ninja program. As a Jonin, he said. A Jonin. He glanced over towards the kids. Before he looked at the headband, his gaze fell on Haku. She was smiling happily. He took the headband, and also as a head of the Uzumaki clan. Because of your age, when you reach the age of 16 years old, you will be able to take a seat on the council. However, from now on, the Uzumaki clan will be recognized. I will be holding the proceedings in your honor until you reach the age of 16 years old, he said. I must say, you have surprised all of us, Homura said. I welcome you once again a part of this village. As do I, Koharu said. What about the girl, said Danzo. That caught everyone's attention as Haku blinked. Aren't we going to discuss the last member of the Yuki clan? Many start to raise the eyebrow and discuss that topic. Hiruzen frowned as he glared at the man. Hiruzen had been keeping this under wraps until he was ready. However, Danzo was able to find out, and now he was bringing it to the light. The Yuki clan. I've heard about that, said Tasumi. It's from Kiri, correct? The ice users, if I'm not mistaken. It was a powerful clan in the past, but just like many others, it was wiped out. As they gasped, turned their attention towards the girl, who was now feeling a bit overwhelmed. This is wonderful, said Koharu. With her, we can place her under the CRA. As Naruto glanced towards the Hokage, who seemed rather upset. What's the CRA, he said. It's known as the Clan Restoration Act, Hiruzen said. Something that we have not discussed. Wait. Haku glanced towards the Hokage. So, that means... Naruto glanced towards her, wondering what was with her reaction. Clan Restoration Act. If she was the last member of the Yuki clan, they would need a lot more to revive the clan. Unless they were going to try to use Haku as some breeding stock to have a lot of babies for different members so they could revive the clan within Konoha. Naruto truly understand now as he saw the look on her face. Everyone went quiet. The kids were startled that remained. Kiba almost collapsed because he was approaching his mother to find out what was going on. A bloodlust like none other. Everyone body tense as they went on guard. Homura and Koharu stepped back in utter fear. 2 bone steaks escaped from Naruto's hand. You rotten old people. How dare you make such a suggestion on Haku? Naruto clenched his fist as he gripped onto the steak. You think that you can use her to do something that she doesn't want to do? Use her to repopulate the clan. You know about her background, and that is the first thing that you want. And to say that while I'm standing here, Naruto launched his stake towards their face. Danzo Shimura, who was the closest, stepped forward. Using his cane, he deflected the both of them. Hiruzen stepped in front of Naruto. Stop this, he said. We've not discussed or agreed to anything. And they won't agree to anything. Because if they try, I'll kill them where they stand. You hear me, you 2 bag of bones. Try to lay a hand on her and see what happens to the both of you. Naruto turned. Come on, he said, as he took Haku's hand. She went with him as he walked away. The bloodlust still boiling in the ear. So that's what you meant, said Tasumi. The anger was like a switch. It just flipped on with the boy. However, she was also angry. She knew that she would feel the same way if this was someone close to her, and those old bag of bones. Yes, that suited them quite well. Decide to bring up something like that. Especially for a kunoichi. It was different for a male. However, the option was always theirs. And they said it like the girl didn't have a choice. She saw why the kid was that pissed off. Hiruzen turned as he turned his glare towards the both of them. Aren't you going to reprimand him for what he did? Hiruzen did not say anything on what they just said. Koharu, mostly. We had not discussed anything about that. And I wanted to wait before I had spoken about that girl. She's still not fully recuperated yet, he said, dropping his gaze upon Danzo. I told you about the boy when coming into this. What are you trying to do? Drive him out of Konoha once again? If he is now a part of the village, he should abide by the rules. Those are not the rules, Hiruzen said, because I did not agree to anything. Or have you forgotten? He said, looking towards all three of them. I am the Hokage. He raised his tone. It was not usual that he raised his tone, but they could see where they screwed up. Bringing up something like that, it truly pissed Naruto off. Although Hiruzen was confident that he would not leave the village, Tsunade had watched what happened. She was actually hoping that those bone stakes had driven right through their skull, ending those two old bastards, Danzo included. However, Naruto would have been in trouble. She made her way off to make sure that the kids were fine. After all, if it come to it, she was of course on their side, not those old bag of bones. Hiruzen dismissed the rest of them. After that, time skip. Tsunade had came to check on them. However, she was unsuccessful in calming Naruto down. She did reduce a lot of his anger, but all of it did not go away. Haku was there with him for the entire day, as Naruto was seriously plotting on just leaving the village right now. It was Haku to talk him down, knowing that he was just angry. Tsunade had promised her that this would never happen, that they could not do that to her. It doesn't matter what they say, something like that would never happen, and she gave her word. So Haku was confident enough to know that, well, she would not be placed under any CRA. She also saw the Hokage reaction when they spoke about that, which made her feel a lot more safe. However, she knew that Naruto was just talking out of anger. This opportunity was something that was big for him. He went from being alone now to being a big standard within his own village. And soon enough it would be announced about who his parents were. Soon everyone would know how special he was. She wanted him to be happy. That was all she wanted. However, it was the same for her, for him. All he wanted was to her be happy. And to hear what they said about her today, it truly pissed him off. Right now the both of them sat on the house, gazing up at the night sky. He eventually leaned back, as she leaned her head right on his chest, feeling rather comfortable in that position. What are you thinking about? She said. She could hear his heart. His heartbeat was long, yes. There was a 5 seconds pause between each of his heartbeat, which was unusual. However, Tsunade had run the test on him to make sure that everything was alright. His body was just different and unusual. His resting beat was really slow. It was almost like he wasn't even alive. His body was special that way. As she asked him what was he thinking. Well, I was thinking about finding those two old bag of bones and ripping them to shreds. Haku sighed. She had a feeling that was on his mind. You can't kill them, Naruto, she said. Why would you defend them, said Naruto. Oh, trust me, I'm not, she said to him. Those two old bag of bones, as you put it, they're rather high up. As you can see from their point on the council, they seem to have a lot of pull and a lot of, well, experience in the business of being a ninja wise. I can tell that they're high up in the food chain. I don't want you putting yourself in trouble because of me. Now why would you say that, said Naruto. She glanced up towards him. All she could see was his chin though. You know, if it come down to it, I would do anything for you, he said to her. Haku was taken aback. Sometimes Naruto said certain things that she did not know if he meant to say it on purpose or if it was just what he was saying from what he felt. Because usually, when someone says something like that, there would be a reaction. some sort of tell, but his heartbeat did not change. His palms did not get sweaty. He was just as calm as ever. She pulled herself up, causing Naruto to look towards her. "What's wrong?" he said. She turned her gaze as she did not face him. "Do you remember the night that we were close by the land of wind?" she said to him. As Naruto knew what she was talking about, it was the only mission that they did, at the land of wind. "Yes, what about it?" "Well, I did something that night," she said. "Yes, you kissed me," said Naruto, remembering that quite clear. "And you did not react in any way," she said to him. "What do you mean?" "Well, you did not say anything about it. Even as the days passed, I thought you would have said or done something, but you did nothing," she said. "Even now, what you just said to me, that is personal. Something you'd only say to someone that you truly care for. But yet your body don't react in the way that it should." "I want to know," she said. "Do you like me?" "What is it?" she asked. "Because even as hard as I try, I can't tell." "Of course I like you," said Naruto. "No, I know what you're thinking of, but it's not like that. I'm not just talking about like as a friend. I mean deeper." "More than that," she said to him. As she turned towards him, she was just confused. He looked into her eyes before he glanced away. He was quiet, and she thought, perhaps just maybe, he did not see things the way she saw it. For the first 6 years of my life, it was hell. She listened to what he was saying. I hated every second of it. It wasn't until I found out that I could be better, be stronger, when I truly started to live. It was when I abandoned this village. Out there by myself, I was free. I had completely cut off majority of my emotions. The only thing I needed to feel was rage, so I could get stronger, and thrill when I completed a hunt, nothing else. The first moment I met you, I saw that you were dying. You were going to be killed, but I did not care in the slightest." She continued to listen despite what he said. "All I wanted to do was to fight, and I saw that it was 2-on-1, so I decided to kill the other one. However, as the time progressed, I started to feel different. Feel something that I never knew was possible. I started to truly understand what it meant to care about someone. You and Zabuza were there for me, and I wanted to protect the both of you. With Zabuza, it was different. I look up to him as much as I like to tease him, as much as I like to make fun of him. He was a good man. People might see him as a monster, but he was doing what he has to survive. And that is something I respect. But you, on the other hand, the more time we spend together, the more. Every time I look at you, my heart seems to fluctuate. Every time I think about the future, you're there. Every time I think about anything to do with happiness, you're always involved. That night, when you kissed me, I was confused. I did not bring it up because I did not know what to say. I did not understand what I was feeling. After everything that happened and we came here, it was here I finally understood what it all meant. I went to the library, searching for answers. But those books, they could not tell me what I need. However, I spoke to the only other person that I truly trust here. And that's because she saved you. She realized he was talking about Snatty, and she told me what I was feeling. He faced her this time, looking into her eyes. I don't just care for you. I love you, he said to her. Haku was left speechless. Tears started to leak from her eyes. He moved forward to understand what he did wrong. However, their lips connected into a soft, passionate kiss. It was pure tears of joy for her to hear that. Throughout it all, her heart had not stopped and stabilized. When they pulled apart, there was a beautiful, radiant smile on her face. She knew it from she first met him. It was confusing at first, but there was no one else in the world that made her feel how he felt. As she wiped away the tears, I love you too, she said. Pure happiness was radiating from her. He also smiled, showing off his sharp teeth. To some he might look rather dangerous, well, to most. But to her he just looked handsome. Time skip. There wasn't much spectators that were there in terms of Jonin wives that had witnessed the battle. However, people were starting to talk. Yes, they were starting to talk. More and more, Naruto was being seen around the village until the date finally happened. There were many posts for them to be gathered at the square at 1 o'clock. The place was filled with people, populated from all over the village. Hiruzen Sarutobi was standing there, using chakra to enhance his voice. Many people were wondering what was going on, waiting to hear the big announcement as they wonder if the Hokage was going to step down and hand the title off to the recent return home Sannin. But that was not the case, it seems. I'm sure that you're all wondering why I have called you here today, he said. They all knew that it was something big given the fact that he called the village, not just the council, are important Jonins. It is quite simple. We are here today to welcome the return home of one of Konoha's great heroes. Someone that has protected this village from day one by holding back a great beast in order to keep everyone safe, Hiruzen said. As Naruto and him had spoke about this, Naruto wanted all of them to know. If they still hated him because of that, he did not give a damn. So they can say all they might as well let them know everything. People started to discuss, several people talking about that boy. His name is Naruto Uzumaki, he said. 13 years ago, on that fateful night which I'm sure that all of you remember all too well, the Nine Tails attacked this village. Our great leader Minato Namikaze was able to seal away the beast to stop it from causing more havoc. And his son has returned home with the beast still safely kept away in his cage and keeping us safe. The population was silent for a moment as they thought they heard wrong. I'm sure that all of you are wondering if what I just said is correct, but I assure you this is no lie or fabrication of news. On that night, the son of Minato Namikaze was born. Between him and Kushina Uzumaki and their child, standing right here, he motioned for Naruto to step forward, is Naruto Uzumaki. He has returned back home. The population was silent. Murmurs started to break out. As Hiruzen stood there watching the people reaction, Naruto stood there as well. Many people started to clap, which surprised Naruto. Hearing that, as he glanced down towards them, it actually pissed him off. However, for the sake of the old man, who begged him to stay civil, because he wanted to launch a couple of stakes and blow them to pieces, he remained docile up there. However, he did not wish to talk to any of them. Majority of them had not clapped, but a lot had clapped. The population of Konoha was large, so it was still big. Many of them were trying to sort out their feelings many of them who had despised him from day one. Yes, it was a rather trying day. Not a lot of work was done that day, as many people were just really confused. Hiruzen had made them know that the boy is indeed the legacy of Minato. Many of them felt horrible, as he had put it into perspective. The boy had been keeping them safe by holding back the beasts. He has returned back home now, for a brand new start, a fresh start, and hoping that they did not make the same mistake they did in the past, because he was willing to give them another chance. Hiruzen had talked to Naruto about that as well, as he told him as long as they did not try to bother him, he would not hassle them. It was different. Walking through the village, people were acting completely different. Some of them still gazed at him, but the glares were less and less. Some of them actually waved, saying hi. Now that the news was out, people understood that the ceiling and the trust that they should put in the Fourth Hokage, they had not put it at all, because they had taken his dreams, they had taken his last wish and tossed it to the side. Even the younger population now knew about that. Sasuke believed that Naruto was strong only because of the Nine Tails, but he did not say a thing about that. People were still wary. However, they saw that he was actually keeping them safe. Many now believed that, well, he was a hero of the village. It was easy for their thoughts to change, and just the background alone as well. The word spread through the elemental nation like a wildfire. The son of Minato Namikaze was here. He had a son. He had a child. We begin at the hidden stone. Oniki leaned back in his chair. He had a piece of paper in his hand. A startling look resided over his face. He thought that man was dead and buried, only to turn out that he had a child. Not only did he have a child, this child contained the Nine Tails. Konoha was once again showing their might. With this little proclamation, Hiruzen had made the nation, showing that they were still greatly powerful, just by the name alone Namikaze, and the fact that Naruto had the Nine Tails. Even the fact that his mother was Kushina. Konoha levels had risen once again. There were also rumors that the boy was just 13 years old, and he was already stronger than majority of the Jonins. Crazy rumors started to spread that he was Kage level, that he was a prodigy amongst prodigy. It was crazy all over. Oniki placed down the paper, and he decided to leave it alone. Yes, he left it alone. There was a reason for that. Oniki had saw bloodshed, a lot of it. Right now the elemental nation was peaceful. He was sure that there were many that wanted the boy head, but he would not allow that. Yes, he would not. Because so many had suffered in the past. If they target this boy right here and now, Konoha would retaliate. Yes, it would. And that would just cause more problems. So despite everything that has happened, Oniki dropped arms. Yes, he decided to just let this one be. To let it go. Hoping that many can forget about the past as well, even though he knew it would be hard. The Raikage, for one, chose to not engage with this as well. Yes, the boy might be a big problem for the future because of his strength. It might turn out to be something that they need to worry about. However, he wanted to make peace. Konoha was still itching with Kumo because of what happened with the Hyuga heiress. If he decided to start something right now, that would just make things worse. However, unknown to them, Orochimaru of the Sannin was happy. He was using this news to get what he wanted, to further convince Raza, that was the father of Gaara, the fourth Kazekage. He was convincing him to strike Konoha right now because his boy was going to grow up and be just like his father. And all of the missions that they were already losing, the small amount that they were getting, were going to be transferred over to Konoha. And the son was going to suffer because of financial support. This was egging Raza on to join Orochimaru and his little attack on the village, believing that they should strike while it was hot. He had the forces to overpower them. Orochimaru also believed that, with this news, he could gain more forces, and he was correct. A lot of Minato Pass enemies were coming out of the woodwork. Yes, they were coming. They were going to try and kill Naruto Uzumaki, his son, his legacy. They would not allow him to survive. The Chunin exams is coming up in a few weeks, and Orochimaru was working hard to bring Konoha down to its knees. However, he was unaware of what he was going to start. He was unaware of the true monster that is named Naruto Uzumaki. Meanwhile, in the deep recesses of Naruto Mindscape was the Kyuubi, the only being that seemed to know what Naruto was. The fox was having a little memory flash of the past, something that no one this day and age would know, because it was covered up in the past. He remembered that his father was the one. His father was the one that had told him everything about that monster. He couldn't believe after all these years, the monster had been reborn, but this time in a boy. The same boy that he was inside of. And the thing was, it was all his fault. Yes, Kurama knew that it was his fault why this boy was born this way. They were connected. If only the boy knew what exactly he was. However, in time, he was either going to control this power or it was going to control him. And if it does control him, every single person on this earth would die. There was no if or but. Everyone was going to die. Well, he just hoped that the boy had a strong will, and he believed that his little mate would help him. However, if something was ever to happen to her, he prayed for everyone's soul on this earth. He prayed for them all, because the world was going to end. But guys, be subscribe right here. If you want to see the next portion, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off now. See you guys soon. Peace.